Hey everyone, I'm MacGyver and welcome to the Big 5-0! It's 50th video on my channel, so I decided to make it all nice and special and all of that, and do a Q&A. Helping me is Zach Boneshans. Can't see him at the moment, but he is behind the camera. Who will be asking me questions. Go ahead and say hi.
Hi.
Yes, so that is what we're going to be doing today, and as you can see there's nice space right around here of me to where hopefully I can edit stuff in and really test how good I am with a computer, which will be very interesting. So, without a further ado, we will start with the questions. Zach.
Alright, question number 1. What is your favorite book?
What is my favorite book? That's an easy one. That would be Bridge to Terabithia, tied with Dewey, the Small Town Library Cat Who Changed the World. It's a tie for both of them just because I like them so very much, and they're both really good. For those of you who aren't familiar with the books, Dewey, the Small Town Library Cat Who Changed the World is a real-life account of Dewey Page Turner, who was the cat who lived in the Spencer Library here in Iowa. And so that's just really good, just getting a biography of a cat from the head librarian's view. Very good, of course, me being a cat person and super sappy, of course I cried doing it, but you know. Zach's giving me the single tear behind camera, which is true, except many tears. The other one, of course, which made me cry a whole lot, mainly because when I was younger, is Bridge to Terabithia, just because it's really a book that I mentioned a couple of videos or in a blog post that everybody should read at some point during their elementary career, just because it is a short, easy book. The movie is excellent, and it just really shows you like the value of friendship and how much that means to you, and also as well as letting your creativity and your imagination go wild. It's a super good book, and that's why I love them.
What is your favorite movie?
What is my favorite movie? Well, I actually already said that. That is Bridge to Terabithia, of course. Just because, yeah, once I read the book, the movie came out within 6 months later. I saw it, I cried, and the rest is history, so on. Of course, it's one of those things where it is my favorite movie, but I don't actually have it on my tower of movie and music. So, that's one of the things, and of course I have it up there as my favorite, but for a lot of stuff I don't really have favorites, more of like top 10 of the stuff I really like, whereas there are some ones like Bridge to Terabithia will always be at the top of the list, and everything else it can be whatever order it is, just because I don't really like choosing favorites, just because I don't like the biasness as much, and the fact that some of them is just really hard to tell.
What is your favorite James Bond film?
What is my favorite James Bond film? For those of you who weren't there on National James Bond Day, go ahead and check out that video here. Or if you have not seen my James Bond analysis, go ahead and check that here. I don't know if I'll actually be able to get the little video things going here, but I'm going to try my darnest to. So, my favorite James Bond film is, of course, Die Another Day, which is the third movie starring the wonderful, great Pierce Brosnan. Not Sir, unlike Roger Moore and Sean Connery. Pierce Brosnan reprising his third James Bond movie with Halle Berry playing Jinx, who is probably one of my favorite James Bond girls. It's my favorite James Bond movie for numerous reasons. Number one, you sort of get this feeling after GoldenEye and The World Is Not Enough that it's sort of a newer age of Bond. It's really starting to get a lot more technologic, and with both weaponry, gadgets, and the villains as well, with what they're wanting to do. It sort of gets advanced, which is very nice for the coming of the new age, getting out of like the 80s and into like the later 90s, into the 2000s. It really sort of sparked that new age of James Bond. And then, of course, as one of my favorite cars, the Aston Martin Vantage, which is accurately named in the movie the Aston Martin Vanish, because of the fact that it has cameras all over it that makes it turn invisible. In fact, I have a Matchbox car of the Vantage somewhere over there. But the funny thing is, it's not silver like it is in the movie. The Matchbox car I have is almost the same green of the villain's car in it. So, yeah. So, that's my favorite James Bond movie. Then the fact that not so much because of the title sequence song by Madonna, but it is probably one of the most interesting songs for any James Bond, just because it is a lot more technologic and not as much lyrical.
How did you meet Brooke?
How did I meet Brooke? If you did not last through the entire part 2 of the Friends Weekend blog, just because it is much longer. And I don't know if I've mentioned it any other time before, I will say it here again, to where I guess this question's a little interesting because it's when did I first meet Brooke, which is different from when Brooke and I first started dating and everything, which is a lot more what we talked about in that vlog, which will be in the description, otherwise it's one of the past 2 vlogs. So Brooke and I really first met each other and became friends in 6th grade, which is also when we decided to get together and everything. But it first started with the way the school system was set up is we had this class that changed every 6 weeks, and we were still with the same people. It was like about 20 people that stayed for each 6 weeks, and so Brooke was in mine, and so for our first one we were grouped together for a group project in which it was, some health class, so we had to talk about steroids of all things, which is why if you watched the last video I had the wonderful slide of the piranha on steroids. It's the most hilarious photo ever, and I'll put that right here to show all of you. But that's sort of the first time I met Brooke. It was one of those, when she first moved to the school district and moved right down the street from me, it was sort of been an acknowledgement of, oh, I knew she lived there, but I didn't really know her at all. I knew her name, but that was about it. So that was sort of when we first met each other. And then, of course, months later, there was the time after school where Brooke and friend Dana, if you don't know Dana, check out Little Red Joe's channel here, otherwise link in the description, came up to me and Brooks mentioned that, hey, I like you, everything. I was like, okay, and she's like, no, I like you. I was like, oh, okay, which at the time was a little weird just because 6th grade there were some people dating already. I was like, what in the world are people dating in 6th grade already? It's out of my mind. I was like, that's a high school thing. It's when you're older. And it was one of those that you sort of get the concept of, well, it's not really like dating in a way at the middle school age. It's like you can go on quote unquote date, but it's more of just getting together and knowing each other, to where by the time you get to high school, when you go on a date, it's a lot more intimate. So yeah, that's sort of how Brooke and I met. Not much descriptive, but Brooke tells it a lot better in the vlog, so that will be somewhere to click on. So,
I'm going to read this how it's written. Why do you suck at Marco Polo?
why do I suck at Marco Polo? So, thank you very much, Carly Joe, for this question from Facebook. Context behind this is during the summer, my friend Brooke and Dana and her younger sister Carly invited me over to their house to swim. And I was like, oh, okay. Of course, if any of you know me, I don't just go to swim. I have to, like, really be in the mood. There's some people that have to be, like, in the mood to eat popcorn and they only do it at theaters. I'm sort of like that with swimming. I really have to be in the mood to go swimming. And so I figured, I'll go swimming. I haven't done it in months, because I always swim at the beach in Michigan. So, yeah, going in. So I thought, okay, I'll go and swim with them. And, of course, we swam for a while in the pool in their backyard. I'm like, oh, hey, we'll play Marco Polo. To where the blindfold we used was a bandana. But, of course, we weren't smart in thinking of doing it rectangle way to easily tie it and everything. No, we did it the triangle way, so there was a part that hung, like, almost in your mouth, which sucked. And the fact that, yeah, once it's wet, it stays wet. So we decided to play Marco Polo and everything, and yeah, because I don't swim often, nor did I swim a whole lot when I was younger as a kid, but I also never played Marco Polo in a pool in my life up until this past summer. I know, it's the strangest thing, but I never played Marco Polo, so I understood how it was played and everything. I'd seen it on TV and other kids play it, but I'd never taken part of. So I figured, okay, it won't be that bad, but yeah, trying to chase 3 women in a pool, yeah, I still couldn't. And it wasn't a big one. It was probably like a 20-foot diameter pool, so decent size, but yeah, I was still lost, especially since how we kept all the pool noodles in there. So of course they were throwing me and hitting me with those and everything, and it was a mess. One of the rounds took almost 10 minutes for me to catch anyone because I suck so much. So that's why I suck at Marco Polo and will probably never play it again. So
Why the Lego kick?
why the Lego kick? This actually comes from the man behind the camera, Zach. So why the Lego kick? This probably sprouts out. Of course, it seems like I'm repeating myself because I did it in a speech I had to do for rhetoric. The one I wasn't able to videotape, if any of you remember that vlog. But the Lego kick started back when I was, around 6. It was around 2004-ish. And my parents had just gotten us Legos at Toys R Us. At the same time, we got the Jimmy Neutron movie, if that sort of places how long ago that was. So that's sort of when it started. So I was around 6 with just a bucket of plain old Legos, which half a year later turned into a second tub just because my brother and I just went crazy with them. And so it sort of started then, but I guess a lot more of the fascination and the growth of really playing and then buying and expanding started, probably around 4th to 5th grade, to where I'll post some photos here. It mainly started with vehicles, about a year after Alpha Team had its second go around. I really enjoyed the Technic pieces in it and the way they fit together, but I also liked making vehicles with lots of weapons on them. And a few months later, making weapons that didn't look like weapons or were hidden and then came out, much like you would see in a James Bond core. Or years later, I would make a really giant Green Hornet vehicle, which unfortunately I don't have photos of, but basically we created it pretty bigly. One moment. Alright, sorry about that. My sister needed a little bit of help. So with the Lego kit, yeah, it started with cars and like the Green Hornet one. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture just because I don't know why I didn't, but it was so sweet. So that's sort of where the kit came from, just because from there, more of the vehicles of sort of hiding different things here and there, which then expanded to more sets and creating different things to where just before the basement flooded, I'll post a photo here of I started to get into a fascination with like the launchers for Lego. So I was like, I would like to make guns and stuff, so I made one, and then of course there was the flooding that happened, and so Christmas afterwards, that's when I made the Walther PPK off of the instructions from Mydifferentusername, who's an excellent YouTuber who makes Lego weapons. His channel will be down in the description below, who you should all go check out, just because I believe he just posted a new video on how to make the CSGO Counter-Strike dual knife daggers. Shadow daggers, yeah, out of Lego, and that's really cool. So go check him out. So that's sort of what, from there, after I built the gun, I was like, okay, so then I built a small little crossbow with a rubber band, and that's sort of where the fascination with Lego guns sort of stemmed from, which is what I really like to do, and why a lot of the stuff I make is weapon related. And then this past probably year and a half to 2 years sort of came a lot more of other stuff, like different buildings and creatures and ships and dioramas and like my record player and things like that. And then with seeing all these kids at the Lego clubs at the libraries sort of just really gave me this uplifting feeling of seeing imagination and creativity at work, and seeing Lego bring smiles to these kids' faces. So that's sort of what drives, and yeah, that's sort of where my kick for Lego comes from.
What is your most favorite Lego set?
What is my most favorite Lego set? That's a bit of a toughie, just because I don't really like to play favorites, only because once you think you found one that you really want, and once you have it, you love to build it, you're never going to take it apart. Then about 2 months down the line, next wave of Lego comes out, it's like, oh, I really want that. That really stems at this thing that I really love. And so that previous one sort of goes away, but favorite one that I probably have now, I really enjoyed the Lego Movie a whole lot. I really think it was the best movie of 2014. So I really love my Benny spaceship, which is one I've sworn all the way through a contract, whatever, with myself, that it's one I'll never take apart, even with all the very unique and older pieces to it. It's one that will always stay in its true shape, along with all the minifigures in it, just because they're very unique themselves. So that's probably up there. Otherwise, my favorite is probably last year when the Back to the Future DeLorean came out. That is probably my favorite Lego set, just because it's Lego and it's Back to the Future at the same time, to where you can have it as any of the 3 movie DeLoreans, and with the little Doc and Marty McFly in it. I just really love it, especially now with Lego Dimensions that's come out, and the whole Back to the Future stuff that they've added in there, which once I get a PS4, I'm going to play the heck out of. So, yes, it's probably my most favorite Lego set.
This would be question number 8 now.
Yeah.
This is, can you solve in a Rubik's Cube?
Yes.
And I'm just going to ask you question number 9 as well, because it goes into the same thing. And what is your... oh, sorry. Never mind.
No. So, can I solve a Rubik's Cube? Second question along with this, which I believe Zach is thinking of. My friend David Mortensen on Facebook, if you don't know him, he's a crazy guy with a cube. He is one who sort of taught me how to how to solve a Rubik's Cube. So, first question is, yes, I can solve a Rubik's Cube, but not in the traditional way. I actually learned, before I could solve Rubik's Cube, granted, this one is stickerless and it's transparent, nor is it as good as the cube David had that I did my record on. But the thing is I actually learned how to solve this crazy thing of Megaminx before I could solve the 3x3. Only because I got in this at the same time as the 3x3. Of course, I couldn't solve it by myself. I still needed David's help. But I got this thinking, oh, it's very, very unique. I know David didn't have anything like this at the time. And I was like, oh, it looks fairly simple. And if I just mess it up and it can never solve it for a long time, it'll be fine. And so I did scramble it up. But I became determined to solve it rather than just setting it aside and letting it collect dust. To where once I figured out how to solve it, I became really good and fast at solving it, and I figured, well, I can solve this crazy thing, I must be able to solve a 3x3. But I didn't want to do it with the same method David did. I'd sort of done it with his help a couple times, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it the same way I solved Megaminx. And it actually worked out extremely well and a whole lot faster than what I had been doing. So, yes, and to make sure that there's no biasness of, oh, I'm scrambling it and I'm memorizing all the moves, I'm going to have my friend Zach behind camera mix it all up, and I'm going to time myself as to how fast I can actually solve it, just because
this thing's so slippery.
it's a little slippery, just because it's been forever since I solved it. Well, not really forever. It's been a couple of weeks. Nor is it as good as a condition as it should be, or is it as good of one that David has, which my record last time he timed me, and I timed myself, was 1:20 for solving a traditional 3x3. Of course, traditional 3x3 meaning every square is the same, and it's not a mirror cube where it's cut differently. Can solve this one too. In fact, I've done it blindfolded twice. I'll have to show you later. So We will start in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. Okay. This is going slightly better, but not really at the same time. So, I actually am doing a lot better. I shouldn't downgrade myself that much, nor should any of you if you ever saw me in this. Because if you can, it can be a little taxing the first couple times until you get really good at it and everything. So, don't feel down if you can't the first time or so. Not many people can, unless you're like David Mortensen, who's just, yeah, a genius. Who has, yeah, last I knew, close to 60 cubes and, yeah, wicked quick at all of them. Yep. Zach is sort of just like face palm behind the camera at the moment at me solving this. Alright, what in the world? What did I do? Interesting. Oh, there it is. Yeah, this isn't a good solve. I'll tell you all that right now, just because of the fact that I'm super slow at this. Oops, I missed. I screwed something. No, but I didn't. Oh, I'm off my kilter so much. This is so bad. This is such a bad time. Oh, granted, minus off half a second before stopping at about 2:27. Which is just, that was so bad. So, yes, I can solve it. My fastest is 120, and I just did it in 2:28.
What is your favorite video game?
What is my favorite video game? Excellent question. Really hard one as well. I guess when people say video game, I guess there's a slight misconception or sort of skewing of the term of a video game, whether that's console, computer, or are they the same thing? Too many people would say, oh, anything on an Xbox, PlayStation, Wii, Nintendo device is the same, but if it's on a computer, it's a computer game, which is different, but we like to put them all into one pool of gaming. Granted, you don't really need quotes unless, of course, you're not good at it. I don't want to downgrade people, but I guess there's a point to where gaming isn't happening, it's sort of gaming, and it's more of just messing around. But at the same time, it's loads of fun as well. But my favorite overall, obviously I'm a great fan of all the Lego, because Lego Batman on my channel, and Lego Star Wars was the first video game my brother and I ever owned for, yeah, console and everything. So, as of now, I probably have to say, great, this is going to be so super cheesy and, yeah, people probably get mad at me in the comments. Minecraft is probably one of my favorites. Of course, it's not like the favorite, but it is up there just because I really do love it. It's like, in a way, Lego, but toned down in a way to where it's crafting and everything. And yeah, it's just all square. You can customize your skin, and it's a place that you can be yourself and play just by yourself at the same time of creating whatever it is you wish. Sort of like, yeah, in my Minecraft ships video that I posted last week, and hopefully soon I'll show my world on my mobile app for Minecraft. So there's that, and of course I want to start a survival series, which probably won't start until around Christmas time. So, there's that. I love playing it. I love playing it with Zach as well at his house on his Xbox, which is very, very interesting because I suck at the controls for Xbox. I've been a PlayStation guy most of my life, and switching controls is not so much of a hassle, it's just understanding the controls. I'm just helpless. Especially if I've always been a bottom screen guy with its split screen. I've always been a bottom screen guy for anything. That's just the way my brother and I did it. And Zach likes to be a top screen guy too. So when we play, it somehow always switches and I'm on top, which just throws us off. But yeah, Minecraft's probably up there, and probably the other video game that I really enjoy playing is Borderlands.
Whoop.
Of course, yep, there's Zach. Of course, he's the one who got me started on it. And yeah, it's just a really fun game of, I was for a while in that world of like WoW, World of Warcraft, and sort of that MMORPG and everything like that, massive blah blah blah, and stuff, to where you could pick your class, you could do your own story and do quests, and I enjoyed that, but of course, yeah, paying for the monthly subscription for that stuff is just ridiculous, especially when you don't have a job. So, Borderlands being, just a one-time purchase for a console or, I think PC. I haven't looked it for PC. Zach says yes, which I'll have to look into that. So, yeah, just being able to, I love sniping, so obviously I'm Mordecai or Zero, depending on Borderlands 1 or 2. I haven't played pre-sequel, and Tales from the Borderlands is just a text-based game, so yeah, I like doing that, being able to customize him and use whatever weapons I want and go on the crests and everything. It's just so much fun, and the humor in it, and the graphics may seem really cheesy or off-putting, but it's really enjoyable. So Borderlands is probably up there, tying with Minecraft. Otherwise, yeah, any LEGO game created, including all the way back to like Lego Island and stuff, which is super old. It's really old 90s, like first sort of LEGO game. Hopefully I'll be able to play that at some point, but who knows on that.
You want me to read it as it's written?
Read all of them as written. Oh, crap.
Which teacher from high school teacher do you miss the most?
Okay. Which high school teacher?
From high school teacher.
From high school teacher
you miss the most.
Goodness me. Oh, it's a bit of a thinker. So, I mean, there are definitely ones that were sort of hit that borderline of not really mediocrity, just because I don't want to downgrade or praise some that don't or do deserve praise and everything, but there were some of those that I had a hard time enjoying, possibly mostly because of the subject matter and how I felt about that. But favorite teacher, I guess it's, I don't want to go with the cultural bias for it that sort of arisen up because of him, but I probably have to go with Mr. Furlong, just because Mr. Furlong is just a great, easygoing guy. He's super approachable. He's very funny to where sometimes it may seem like he's a little over sarcastic, or he's sort of fishing you the line or whatever of making you think about something where you don't need to. But he's just a great guy. His classes are excellent. I mean, he made his government class very enjoyable, which most people would think government, boring, that's a snooze fest, but no, it's very enjoyable with him. And then taking the psychology class of his is just really good, and sort of like the movie suggestions he gives are excellent, and the fact that, we get to play like 4 weeks of just straight chess, which is really, really fun. So probably have to say Mr. Furlong, of course. Yeah, I like most of the teachers there. I never really had much of a beef with any of them. More of just slight aggravations because of, certain things.
Dana wonders if she is the only one who likes hot chocolate mixed on vanilla ice cream.
To be perfectly honest, when I first read this question, I was like, did she comment this somewhere it wasn't supposed to? I was like, no, it's a legitimate question. And so I thought, okay, yeah, I've done it before, but I missed that word mix. I thought it said like chocolate syrup, which I was like, oh, I've done that before, but of course, I've never been a big chocolate ice cream or chocolate syrup fan. Like there's only like certain types of chocolate milk I'll drink. So I was like, oh yeah, I've done that before, but I usually use strawberry syrup. And I had this whole thing planned out for the question. And then I reread it about 2 hours ago when Zach came over. And I reread it, it said hot chocolate mix. And I was like, wait, that's not the same thing. And then I got thinking, well, that doesn't sound all that bad. So I haven't tried it. So I know David Mortensen mentioned in the comments of your comment on Facebook that he's done it. I have not done it yet, but I will try it. But going off of that with hot chocolate is I don't like hot chocolate. Not to the point where I don't like it at all, but it has to be like really decent hot chocolate, and I really need to be in the mood, or if there's like no other option for a hot beverage. I mean, if any of you watched the part 1 vlog of the Friend Weekend, it mentioned I do drink coffee, but I like apple cider a whole lot better. Hot apple cider mix. So that's sort of my go-to drink versus the whole apple cider hot chocolate. I choose the apple cider just because there's a whole lot more variations and everything, and that's sort of what I grew up on, and the fact that hot chocolate always seemed really watery to me, and the fact that I think it was just so many cups of inferior hot chocolate. They were just poorly made or weren't enough mix to where it just wasn't as good. But although, to sort of contradict that, Mexican hot chocolate, that stuff is the bomb diggity. Oh, that stuff, oh, I love that stuff. Mrs. Faffle's Mexican hot chocolate, that is, oh, that's something. Oh, I love that stuff. It's so good just because they add spice and stuff in it, so it's like spicy hot chocolate, and it's like a good hot chocolate to begin with, and then with spice and everything, oh, it's beautiful, as long as you don't make the mistake as Cody said and chug a whole styrofoam cup. He was out the rest of class. But Mexican hot chocolate contradicts everything I believe about hot chocolate, everything, so. But then again, at the same time, people are like, oh, but you said you like coffee, so that takes precedent. Well, apple cider is only something I drink once fall and winter comes, and then I don't drink it during spring and summer. It's just because it's a seasonal thing as well in stores. So I only drink it, when it's seasonal, just because of tradition and the way I was grown up and everything. But coffee is something I can drink any year round, just because, yeah, it's just something that's available year round, and you can sort of specialize however you want with flavors and everything. Though I do drink my coffee black, or straight up. I don't add any cream or sugar. If I did, it would be considered like half of sugar and like a third of cream, just because it would only be enough to get rid of that little bite of coffee that you get, so that when you take a sip and whoo, that sort of rush it gives you, it would only be to get rid of that. But I don't like a lot of sugar and cream, just because I really want like the true flavor of coffee, especially if it's already flavored. Like, I really love the Dunkin' Donuts cherry cobbler coffee, which I have upstairs, which of course some people, I know Zach's giving me this weird look. It's not bad, it's a very subtle sort of taste. It's more of the aroma and the smell. So yeah, I sort of like it black, but yeah, it's something I can drink year round, and apple cider I just don't. Next question. So, but yes, I will try the hot chocolate mix ice cream thing. It sounds very interesting. I will try that at some point.
What is your biggest fear?
What is my biggest fear? Zach posed this question to me, and I didn't think about it at all. I just wrote it down. My biggest fear, when people say that, they may go into slight things like, oh, I don't like snakes at all, which I don't. I still have my head down anytime I go through a reptile room in a zoo.
That makes sense.
I don't know why. I mean, I've touched a snake before and everything, but I think it's just the concepts of the snakes and everything from a young age I just haven't liked. Nor spiders. I don't like spiders that much. As long as they're like less than the size of a quarter. Once they're bigger than a quarter, yeah. Then a tissue box won't kill it. So I guess, like, going more like the huge philosopher, like, what do you fear? Oh, I fear this, that, or the other thing, or otherworldly, which I guess is sort of what my fear is, and to where I probably have to say my biggest fear, most people would say death and everything, of dying, but I think I've slightly come to terms with that just because a little bit of the way I think and sort of some past experiences of mine. But I guess my biggest fear is just being alone, or the concept of being alone. Sort of along those lines of, if you were to get the question of, if you could be immortal or never die, would you? And so, like vampires and stuff, of course they can be killed and everything, but truly invincible and immortal and everything. One of those two is like, oh, it would be bad for a while, but then you lose your loved ones, and you wouldn't have them anymore. True love, you may have it over and over again, or you may have it once, and from then on it's meh. To where, in a way, I would never do it just because I'd be miserable for forever just because of circumstances with immortality and everything. But I guess, yeah, being alone just because of the way I've sort of been with, like, death at a young age, of losing my sister and certain things, and a lot of the way because of the way I think, which is something for another time. Yeah, being alone just because I'm a guy who's really caring, and lots of people say that about me. I'm very caring. I really care about other people and everything. I put others first and almost never about myself. But the fact that, yeah, I'm really emotional and I really feel towards people, like Brooke and my family, and as many times as I mentioned it, my cat. To where it's one of those two, like, when they dropped me off at college, I was so scared for, like, one of the first times in my life. It was just almost too much anxiety for myself, to where I wanted to leave, and college never officially started for me and everything. So it's one of those things, like, I really love Brooke and everything. I'll say that now. It'll probably be out there at some point. I really do care for her and everything, and I hope we have a nice long life together. But it's one of those things to where, with the way I think and a slight fear of death and everything, the idea of losing her, or losing my parents, or one of my siblings, or my close friends, or just everyone for that matter, just terrifies me to the core of losing everything familiar with myself. To where, this was an analogy I used when I was telling my mom about how much I didn't like college and everything when I first started, was that, granted, yes, it's supposed to be after high school, you go into adulthood in college, and you're sort of just supposed to put yourself in the new and unfamiliar, but instead of taking, like, steps into, like, the kiddie pool end of the pool to sort of get myself in, I took a helicopter 50 miles out and it threw me in the ocean, was the way I felt instead. So, yeah, being alone is something I don't really like. Granted, I always like working alone on school projects and everything, but it's more of a personal, that's more of a personal thing of wanting to do it a little more my way. Slight trust issues with people getting stuff done and everything, but, and the fact that I know if I do it, it'll be of my quality, and they'll grade me upon myself and not others as well, to where if I do bad, it's because of myself and everything. So, yeah, I guess my greatest fear is being alone. And, yeah. I guess there's some slight death in there, but I don't think that takes us.
Why do you like magic?
Why do I like magic? Well, I guess first off, to clarify, I didn't get myself into magic. Zach got me into magic, which I'm slightly grateful and ungrateful for, more grateful. Why do I like magic so much? I don't know if it'll be up before this video, but I did do an unboxing of the big box he got me, so that will be up at some point, along with a whole bunch of Brick Swag boxes in a video, so look forward for that. Unless it's already been out, then go watch it. So, why I love magic so much, I actually have to go back many previous years to when I was addicted to Pokemon cards, which was something that Zach and I really weren't into until sort of like Pokemon sort of started to mellow out. We really didn't get into it until the Pokemon something of the Guardian Shadow something or other. They all sound a lot the same. I know I have the movie somewhere over there, but Giratina and the Shadow something or other.
Giratina and the Sky Warrior.
Sky Warrior, yes, that's my favorite film first off of all of the Pokemons, mainly because of no, not Giratina. Shoot, what's the name of the hedgehog? Shaman. Shaman's the name of the little hedgehog thing. And that's why I really like Pokemon, because this little hedgehog with green hair and
flowers
and pink flowers in its hair. I really like that Pokemon. My brother and I loved that movie, and that's what got us really into. We had loved watching the Pokemon series, and especially the movies on TV, but we had never like delved into the culture of Pokemon until then. And that's when we bought the video games and everything, and then especially that's when we got the cards. And so we got that fascination of collecting the Pokemon at first, getting our favorite ones, and then realizing that it's in a way like Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff where you can actually do battles like in the show. And so that's what Zach and I liked. Granted, we only did it a couple dozen times before we realized that we didn't understand it to the point where it made sense of what we were doing. We were sort of just randomly putting stuff together that we wanted to, because this one had this certain ability, so alright, make sure we have stuff for that. Or we really like these cards, so we only have stuff for them. We didn't understand it efficiently enough to, I guess, really enjoy it, so it sort of died out after 2.5 years. But I guess that's sort of why I really got into Magic again, is more of the battle aspect of it, not so much the collecting of cards, which was what happened to Pokemon with me. But with Magic, it was more of the battling. You got cards to battle with. And that's what really interested me in the concept of it, to where once Zach got me into it, once I bought my deck and started playing, I realized, oh, it's just like Pokemon, but more of a matured Pokemon in a way to where it's just battling and not so much for the culture behind it. So that's what I really liked about it, just the fact that you can customize it so much, and it's not just the fact that, number one, it's small, it's shortened down to there's only the 5 different types in Magic, versus like the 8 different kinds in Pokemon. Granted, yes, there are a couple other types of Magic from previous sets and everything, and we're supposed to be getting a new one, aren't we? So there's that to look forward to.
Eldrazi!
Eldrazi. So there's that, and so yeah, I guess that's why I really like Magic and why I buy it and everything, and I do it just because I like the battle aspect of it, to where it's what Pokemon wasn't for me, which is what I enjoy. I mean, yeah, I haven't gotten Pokemon cards in forever, but it's just because I don't battle with them. If I do, it's for that collector's nostalgia. So, yeah. Next question.
If I may throw something in real quick.
Ooh, go right ahead.
So, with Magic, with the whole, strategies and stuff, when you do that, this is kind of a question based off of your Magic question.
Okay.
What what colors do you like, and why do you like those colors? Because each color stands for their separate thing.
That's right. So...
And explain why you prefer them.
So, this is the box I keep all of my decks in that I've created. So, I guess... At the moment, I don't have a certain type of color or colors that I use primarily. I only create decks for that. Or like one color I like more than the other. But the first deck I bought, which was an intro deck, so it was already pre-made and everything, was a blue-green.
Oh my god.
That had the primary thing of evolve, which was the big thing is, if you put another color of this out, this one got buffed. And it stayed buff, no matter what happened. And you could keep doing that. I really enjoyed that. And so, blue-green sort of stuck with me, and then I sort of bought a couple other decks, and my brother gave me one of his. And so, sort of seeing the different types, and then once Zach introduced me to actually building decks, once I'd gotten enough cards, it really sort of branched out to where sort of like the black, green, the red, blues, the red, black, the white, or whatever. It was really interesting to where I still really love green, blue just because of the way they work. Probably just the color green just because of the way that it's primarily of building off of each other's creatures and everything like that. But I almost have to say I have almost more fun playing with a black-green deck. Just because of the fact that, granted, most people would play with like a white-black deck or something to where the white is gaining you life, whereas the black may lose you some, but it's mainly making the other opponent lose life. To where with the green, it's very much building off of yourself to where black creatures, I don't want to say are usually much weaker than other colors, but it's because of the fact that their abilities have other things do stuff for you. So with a green deck, building that up, I can mainly have that as my combat, whereas blacks are more the defensive or what's picking at my opponent's health little by little. Where green is still very much, it's more like half combative, half like life steal or whatever, to where you're still gaining life. It's very easy to do that, or to negate losing life from the opponent. So you're still gaining some, while also, yeah, attacking more, and the black is more just the, losing life from the energy. So that's probably my favorite, green being my favorite color overall. Otherwise, I really love a green-blue deck, but yeah, some of these decks I haven't played with in 3.5 months, so yeah, it's a little hard to judge.
Why did you keep the shoe?
Why did I keep the shoe? Now, people are wondering, what shoe? If any of you have seen it, which you haven't, go look at it now. Not right now doing this video, unless you mark your spot right here, or open another tab. Look at the Shotgun Fun video that I posted up, to where some of you may recognize this shoe. Now, this is the left shoe, I had to think about that, the left shoe that was Zach's at one point, but of course got a little rugged up and a little small for him. And so we then proceeded to shoot it with shotguns. And so this was the shoe I kept shooting at, to where, yeah, it's very easy to see all of the marks that all of the pellets and stuff went through and everything, as well as the back and all the little dark spots on it. But the fact that also it has all of the shells that I shot as well in it. So why did I keep the shoe? Well, first off, I'd been at college, so I wasn't really here. And second off, yeah, I'm very much someone who likes memorabilia to remember things by, and bit of a hoarder. But not to the point where, like, I can't let things go. It's just, if I get it, I just keep it, and I sort of forget about it for a little while. And then I sort of decide, oh, yeah, I don't need this, and I'll throw it away. But it's one of those, like, spur of the moment, oh, I'm going to keep this forever sort of thoughts that go through my head. But the fact that, yeah, it's a great time from stuff. Guess got a text here. So, yeah, one of those moments of, yeah, just being with my friends and everything. And we back. with somebody else. We have Brooke here. Say hi.
Hi.
Yes, Brooke just got out of work a while ago, so she decided she would come on over and join the excitement of our big 5-0 Q&A
Oh yeah, it's
and everything.
definitely
Yes.
exciting.
So, Brooke and Zach are going to be going back and forth with the questions now. So, Brooke.
Really? You want to say it? You want me to say it how it's written?
Okay, don't say
What is
fave,
your
it's-
FOB.TV show?
Just say favorite, alright? I was abbreviating for space. What's my favorite TV show? Oh. Crap, I didn't think of the answer to this ahead of time.
Alright.
Two are
Conversing?
conversing behind the camera. That's what
No, we're
conversing.
planning against you.
Smarticle. I know
Yeah,
the
they're
word.
plotting. Favorite TV show. I have tons of favorite TV shows. I guess if you've watched the vlog that happened the day after the Back to the Future Day one, you obviously know I'm so deeply disappointed that Mythbusters is ending and the series finale is happening this January 16. So, favorite TV show. I obviously love Mythbusters. I have for a long time.
Wait, that's a TV show?
Mythbusters?
Oh wait, I was thinking of Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters was a TV show too. It was animated. Anyways, while Brooke is dying in the background, I'm very much into like a whole bunch of like the crime drama things. I was really into White Collar until hockey interfered and then work interfered, and so I was like 2 seasons behind. So it's ended unfortunately now. So now I'm going to go back from the beginning and start it all over again.
Wait, that was the
Otherwise-
season finale?
I don't know.
Oh,
Well, they haven't had another season in like 2 years, so. So, I really like that. Otherwise, I really enjoy Castle. I love Castle, and I really love Blacklist as well. Those are 2 really, really great shows that I like to watch. But no, probably my favorite TV show, in which I've only actually seen the first 13 episodes of like this 7 seasons, is of course, in the name, MacGyver. Just because MacGyver is the best show ever. Yes, golf
Oh my
claps all
gosh.
around. Brooke is hanging her head in shame. But yeah,
I can
MacGyver's just the best show ever because
Oh my gosh.
Richard Dean Anderson is the man with a plan, with duct tape and a Swiss Army knife. He saves the world from nukes with a paperclip, some string, and a Rubik's Cube. Yes, MacGyver's my favorite TV show.
What's
Next,
your favorite Tom Cruise movie?
what is my favorite Tom Cruise movie? That is easy.
Ow!
First off, Tom Cruise is one of my most favorite actors I love to watch. Mainly that of like Mission Impossible. Zach's counting all of them. I don't know if he'll be able to count all of them, but my favorite Tom Cruise movie of all time is of course The Last Samurai, which is also my brother's favorite. Just because Last Samurai is just one of those really good movies that it sort of changes your perspective on it's fictional events. It's a fictional story upon non-fictional events that actually happened. So it sort of puts your perspective into something in a much more enjoyable way. But the fact that the way the story works with it, it just works really well. The music in it is beautiful just because of the very Japanese like feel of it all. And the action of it. It's just one of those that you might not recognize it as it's Tom Cruise because of the facial hair and everything, but the way he's just really serious in his role versus other things like Mission Impossible and things like Risky Business and Cocktail. So, yeah. So, Last Samurai is probably my favorite, even though I don't own it. My brother does.
Is your favorite movie because of the score, music, or background music?
Well, it's my favorite one because of that now.
Wait,
Unfortunately, I didn't actually explain this well to Zach and Brooke, but this isn't a musical movie like Les Mis or Phantom of the Opera. It's the music that's going on in the background during the actual movie. So it's any movie ever, just the background to it. So I didn't explain that well to them, and I'm deeply sorry.
So
I don't know
Hobbit
that movie.
series?
Like the Hobbit series, yes, the background to it, the ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Wait, so that would
So, actually, I didn't think about this either, but Brooke bringing up Hobbit, that is a really good one, terms music-wise, but it's hard to really choose just because, like, there are really good composers like Hans Zimmer with the New Age stuff like Pirates of the Caribbean, a lot of Nolan films like Interstellar and Inception. And then you have people like John Williams, who does all of like the Indiana Jones. He did the Jurassic Park, which is a beautiful soundtrack. I love Jurassic Park. And different things like that. But, so in a way it's hard to choose like a particular movie. It's a lot easier to pick like a composer. In which I would have to go with John Williams just because he does a lot of the classics like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park. He did the original Superman theme and everything. Just a whole lot of iconic ones. Because, of course, I'd love to say John Barry because of James Bond and everything. But, of course, he was mainly only for James Bond movies and everything. And, of course, Hans Zimmer's nice because of the real intense music like in Interstellar and Inception.
So that's
but the fact that John Williams sort of does more iconic stuff. So,
what is your all-time favorite vehicle?
my all-time favorite vehicle, that is super easy. Of course, the Aston Martin DB5. The featured James Bond vehicle which first started in Goldfinger, and then of course showed up in other ones following it, such as the new Spectre movie it wasn't in, but it was in Skyfall, the previous one. So that's probably my all-time favorite, followed then by the DB10, the new James Bond car, which, it's so sad. It deserved a whole lot more screen time than what it did, but it was nice getting another Aston Martin with gadgets in it, because Daniel Craig didn't have any in his two movies. So it was nice seeing that. Otherwise, almost any Aston Martin I really enjoy would be my favorite, so... Good.
If you could be any fiction character, who would you be?
If I could be any fictional character, obviously that's very easy, James Bond. There's almost no explanation needed, but just the fact of espionage and everything. Not for the women, and I'm not old enough to drink yet, but, you know, the nice cars, the gadgets, the espionage feel of everything, traveling the world to fun and exotic places. So, yep, James Bond, hands down, easy peasy.
What is your favorite Batman hero or villain, and villainess and heroiness?
Heroine.
Heroine, yes.
So, first favorite hero or villain, in which I sort of want to do like more of like a slightly obscure one, just because lots of people are like, oh, Batman, Robin, Joker, all of those sort of people, but I don't know. I sort of like some of the more obscure ones, just because I feel like sometimes their story comes out a little more as unique to them and everything. Granted, their names may not always be the most unique, but I sort of like them versus like the main canon people that always show up, to where probably one of my favorites is probably the Riddler, I guess. Just because the idea of the riddles and everything in Edward Nygma, especially in like the show Gotham, he's a very interesting character of the fact that he battles with his mind and his thoughts, and how I sort of get that way sometimes in my thinking of different things. So I really like that. That and the fact that green and purple, two of my very favorite colors, is his wardrobe. That's, yep. So, yeah. So that would be for hero or villain. What?
Question on that. You sort of answered it. I was going to ask you, did you pick that because it's your Q&A? I'm sorry, I had to. And then
riddle because it's all questions and everything.
And then is that also because you were kind of like that in high school? Because you would always ask me these kind of
I guess a little
questions.
bit. I mean, it's not like I had this pre-selected. I didn't think of almost any of these actors. Not actors, answers. I'm sort of just putting these up on the spot, but I guess, yeah, in a way, I sort of like to be a little out there. I really like to be knowledgeable about some of the odd things. Like, there's some stuff I know about black holes, but I don't specifically know the entire field about black holes, or I know certain different little science crooks or anything that I just like because you could hint it into like a story or something, or it's just a fun trivia fact that people might not know, and they'd be like, oh, that's interesting. So I guess that's sort of why.
Okay, thank you.
And then heroine or villainess. I don't want to be like I'm all against the good guys for these questions, but a lot of the bad villains and stuff and villainesses just have a lot more unique story and everything, and for if they're like in an episode, it's more of a quick thing. They're not like drawn out stories or anything to where, oh, probably one of my favorites, and if you watch my Lego Batman you might know why, is Poison Ivy or Pamela Ivesley.
She's hot.
Just because it's very interesting, the aspect of how she became the way she is and sort of controlling of plants and everything, and how back in the day in the comics the different storylines that could stem off of that, especially around like
STEM.
STEM. I made a joke without realizing it. And everything like that, just because number one, I love her red hair. I really like red hair. It's very appealing to me, and I like the color. And everything. And the red, green, they're very complementary colors for Christmas and everything and whatnot. But yeah, it's just very interesting. And in certain ways, like how she's able to like manipulate Bane in some story arcs and everything, how they work together. So otherwise, for other heroines or heroesses, Catwoman would be the other one, just because of the fact that she really doesn't have like a power. She's just very acrobatic and lucky in a way with her 9 lives and everything, and so I guess she's very interesting how she's a lot more of a thief than an actual like villain. So yeah.
What's your dream job?
What is my dream job? Well, besides of course being an author, but that's more of what I consider a side job, just because anybody can pick that up and anybody can do it. So it's something I'll do anyways, but what I would really like to do, which I doubt I will do, of course. People are like, oh, have dreams, believe in yourself and everything. Well, it seems a bit far-fetched, but I would love to be a designer for Lego. As in, I'm an actual employee, I'm in their workplace, and I'm designing sets and stuff for people to then go out and buy and enjoy. That's what I would really love to do. And of course, people are like, oh, we'll just hit up the Lego Ideas thing, which yes, I can do if I have something I really want to make out, but this is something like is a full-time job that I spend building and analyzing and thinking through for people to then be able to send out to kids. So it's something more than I want to just throw an idea out there and hope to get 10,000 people to like it. It's something to where no matter what, if the people there like it, and kids would enjoy it, I can go ahead and make it and give it out to the world. So that's what I would really like to do, just because, yeah, my passion for Lego and making kids happy and everything. So,
What is your favorite animal?
what is my favorite animal? Very simple, very easy. Hedgehog.
That's so cute.
Yes, that's why I love hedgehogs. Is hedgehogs are just so small and they're so cute that yeah, I just want to pet them, and they seem always so happy, and when they curl up into a ball, they're cute, and
that's why we're gonna have 3 of them.
they're just they're so very enjoyable and energetic and fast at running around. It's just something really, really fun and cute that I like, and yeah, I would love to have a couple.
What do you think your spirit animal is?
What do I think my spirit animal is? Now, I've thought about this for a little while, and I think it's a red panda. For a couple reasons, of course. People are going to be like, I don't know if that counts, but I'm making stuff up on this, but I may as well continue with it. Yeah, just the fact that, number one, I love red pandas, but the fact that they're very playful, they're energetic and everything. They love being with their friends and family. The fact that they're smart and anything, and yeah, certain things get them distracted very easily, which can be me sometimes, but more Brooke. But the fact that yeah, they just like to sleep and hang out in trees and everything, and yeah, seem intelligent for the most part, and sort of just seem like they fit my personality and everything. So yeah, I think red panda would probably be my spirit animal, of course. I don't know if either one of you two may think differently.
I kind of see you like the turtle from the turtle and the rabbit.
Oh, turtle in the hair?
Yeah, turtle and
Tortoise?
the hair.
Oh, okay. Tortoise in the hair, turtle in the rabbit. You know.
Because you got that shy aspect where you go in your shell, but when you're in your shell, you do something amazing. Like you're like a painted turtle, because you got that creative aspect of you on the outside, but you still got that hidden awesomeness.
I see. That's interesting. I didn't think of that. Huh.
What is your favorite junk food?
What is my favorite junk food? Now, you have to be careful with this, because if you tempt me with this, I may hurt you to get at it. I really, really love these, and yeah, it's ridiculous. People ask, what would you for a contact bar? That doesn't compare to this. And that is Little Debbie's Strawberry Shortcake Swiss rolls. Oh, they're so good. And Brooke is a very cruel person that she keeps getting them for me.
Why is that cruel?
Especially if she wants me to do something for her. Because she knows I'll agree to it because I love them too much. I'm not saying she uses me, but I love those things. They're the best.
So if I may ask, what would you do for one?
Almost anything.
Really?
Yes, I really like them. Within reason, though. I won't do something extremely, first of all, illogical. Like, go and kill the president. It's like, first off, that's illegal. And second of all, the amount of times and what people probably are trying to do every day of trying to get a hit off of high personnel people and everything, and how they're able to stop it and everything. It's just not logical. And when people want it to happen and they expect it, first off, they're not going to be surprised as much. And third off, what really would it do for yourself? You get a single thing that's going to make you happy for about 15 seconds. Yeah, it's sort of like that, but in a way, it's like doing drugs. It's that initial high and then... Not that I condone use of drugs. Don't do them. They're bad for you. Unless it's medicinal, then if you're in need, then do what you want to do. So, yes.
Why fedoras?
Why fedoras? Well, first off, to clarify, this is not a fedora. This is a tilby.
Oh, God.
Or trilby. I can't remember if there's an or not. This is not your true traditional fedora. If you want a true traditional fedora, watch any gangster movie made in the 30s or 40s. Anything that's black and white. Fedora has a lot less of the curve up in the back. It's a much wider brim and not so prominent indents. Still same sort of shape, but the trilby is a lot smaller. And granted, it's a lot more of what people wear today, but yeah. But the reason as to why is, as I mentioned before, I really liked the show White Collar, which of course the main character, Neil Caffrey, played by Matt Bomer, wears a fedora practically all the time. So that's also why I always wear mine crooked. You almost never see me wear it straight unless I'm wearing sunglasses or something. It's always to the side, because number one, it is so much more comfortable, because the problem I have with hats, especially baseball caps or anything, is the ears. I have to have it go over my ears, or it has to be above. My ears can't be sticking out from it. And with, the hat that you can sit off to your side, it's a lot more comfortable as it sits over just the one ear, and it's just, I sort of like the way it goes and everything. So there's that, and then of course with Blacklist, Raymond Reddington wears trilby as well, but of course we all call it fedora because you can't find a real traditional fedora much these days. So yeah, that is why the fedora.
Why do I miss most about school? The most plus why?
Whew. This has been a long day, apparently I can't write at all. What do I miss most about high school or school in general? like I said before, it was like a really big transition for me from college to high school for different reasons. But I guess one of the things I miss about high school was sort of the set day-to-day schedule that was consistent day-to-day. It was same classes, the same time, same location, all in one spot. And I guess that's part of it. I guess another part of it would be, of course, friends, being with people that you've been with for at least a year for a while or for years, and that you see most likely in the next class or some other time during that day. Whereas in college, not so much. It's more a lot newer people for you to then either become friends with or just acquaintances. So I guess there's that I miss. There are certain school foods I miss. I will give it.
Charlie Brown pie.
Charlie Brown pie.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
I have the recipe.
Curse you, Michelle Obama! No, Michelle Obama's fine. It's just Charlie Brown pie. So, yeah, I guess that's sort of the things I miss most about high school. Then I guess Furlong. We all loved Furlong, so I guess I miss him too. So.
What are your hobbies?
What are my hobbies? Yeah, Zach and I were surprised we almost didn't get this one on the list. Drew, it's probably just easier if I just list and not explain too much. Obviously, Lego, watching TV, movies, sort of that thing, YouTube I'm addicted to. Playing video games, obviously. One hobby I've had for probably the longest is coin collecting, actually. I love collecting all sorts of types of currency, whether it's American or Swiss. I have Swiss money. It's amazing the type of change people will bring to a public library to pay for fines, and that I will exchange currency for that new currency. So yeah, coin collecting has been one I've done for forever and that I've loved doing. I was into airsoft for a while, as well as hockey. I still love hockey, I just don't play it anymore because of commitments and everything. So there's that. Hanging with my buds, my friends, obviously. Magic is becoming a hobby now. Writing.
Never mind.
Writing is just a slight hobby. 3D origami is it's a slight hobby. I go back and forth to it from time to time. So yeah, I guess that sort of covers it, just to be very broad.
What is your favorite drink?
What is my favorite drink? Ooh, it's a little hard. Oh, I think I got it. Of course, there's tons of drinks I've had in the past of everything. I like carbonated beverages and everything, especially with the Coke machines, where you can choose any Coke beverage you want, and then the flavors you can put in. Oh, I love those Coke Plus machines. They're the best. Especially the raspberry and orange Coke. They're the bomb. But probably my favorite drink, and this is... I don't know if it's technically a virgin version of it, only because I don't think it's well known for it being an alcoholic beverage. I think it's more well known for being a non-alcoholic beverage, and that would be a Shirley Temple. I absolutely love it, and has always been the drink that... If at any holiday dinner, my grandmother would always, make Shirley Temples for my brother and I, which is mainly just 7-Up, ice, maraschino cherries, and cherry syrup. Otherwise, if you do like cherry 7-Up, that works too. But, Shirley Temple is the best, especially if you can get it from a restaurant, just because it's a lot better made. But, those times with my grandmother, they were the best. And you can't beat maraschino cherries, come on.
Where do you see yourself in 20 years?
Where do I see myself in 20 years? It's a little hard to say, where I'll be. Obviously I'll have finished college, just because that's something that people need to do, especially now in our economy and the workplace, that you really need to have that bachelor's or master's degree in something just because a lot more people require it in the job place, just so you have that further education. That's what they look for now, even though job biasness and all of that's a issue, especially here in America. That's something we can't really sugarcoat or overlook at all. So there's that. Obviously, I plan to be with Brooke for as long as I live. So at some point, we'll get married. I think that's another question. So at some point that will happen. Obviously, I hope within the next 20 years, I have quite a few books published. But many of those being the one spy series I want to write. Another one being I wouldn't mind maybe doing Lego instructional books. Sort of detailing how to build some of the stuff I have. Wouldn't mind that. Living somewhere outside my parents' house just because my room is way too small. To where, I'll have a room like just dedicated to like recording or to Lego, because I need an actual workplace to build with my Lego besides my floor. The floor is very hard. It's uncomfortable. And that ends up display stuff. I mean, really the only way I'm able to display stuff besides the floor is on top of my dresser or my bookshelf. And it doesn't help, I just got another bookshelf that it's number one meant for all my books, but I have to unfortunately include Lego as well. So 20 years, I don't know, it's a little hard to see me in 20 years just because of job situation and everything. I mean, yes, I would love to work at Lego, but the probability and statistics of it are a lot lower. But I mean, author is something I can do on the side and whenever, but hopefully by then I'm still at some sort of library to where no matter what position I am, I'll still be able to enjoy myself, just because I don't really ever want to like head a library as like a director. Not as much as like it scares me or anything, but just the fact that having to deal with all the business side of it, I won't be able to enjoy the actual shelving and being in the shelves and book tagging and repairing and being with the books. With a director, you can do some of that, but then it's a lot more meetings, talking to people, and financial stuff, to where it would just be a lot more of a hassle, and I wouldn't be able to enjoy myself as much. So I guess there's that. So I guess that's sort of where I see myself in 20 years or so.
Your question is, from me, when the flip are you and Brooke getting married?
Of course, flip censoring there, because we like to keep it a little clean on my channel. Brooke is staring at me very intently with this question. When are we getting married? This has been a question we've talked over quite a few times, just because it's an inevitable thing with us. So it's more of just then, when am I sealing the deal? To where a lot of factors come into play, mainly for me, and from what I can tell, Brooke isn't too worried about some of it. She just wants us to go do it and we'll figure it out from there. But a lot of it for me is, like at the moment at the university, I don't have a job, so there's really no source of income for me at the moment, so there's not that. Of course, yes, Brooke is working full time.
I am working full time and I get overtime, mister. Don't even.
I'm answering. Yes, there's that. Then there's the fact that, yes, I am in college, and there's college debt with all that. And of course, there's loans and grants and scholarships and all that stuff, but the chances of getting some of that are slim to none, yet you're still paying some of it back in the end. The fact that I have to go to school for at least 4 years for my bachelor's, and then whatever, and so there's that has to be done. Of course, where I'll finish, I don't know. I had thought for a while, overseas a little far away, but I don't know. It's something I've been dealing with, but that's for a different time. So there's that. Then of course there's where are we going to live and everything, and purchasing that house. I don't have a vehicle. Yes, Brooke does, but I don't. So there's that. That's, yeah, sort of taking that, and everything. Of course, then there's the fact, well, if we get married before I'm out of college, then there's the fact of we're not with each other all the time because I have to be wherever my college is, and she'll be wherever she's working, so we won't really be as together. And I feel like for the first year or two that we're married, it's a good idea that we're close to each other, just that way we can depend upon each other. We know we're there for each other and everything, and there's not this level of separation that even though we don't want to leave each other, there's still the fact of like longing and everything, to where I'm trying to think of the word, to where, yeah, I don't want us to sort of have preconceived conceptions or misideas of what this has happened while we're gone, you're never there. I don't want any of that, even though it won't probably happen between us. But I would like to do it sort of after college, that way I have this huge big boulder in my road out of the way, and I can face the next big one. Not that marriage is a big one by any chance, but the fact of, if you're with the right person, that it's not a struggle, because you know you'll get through it no matter what, financial and everything like that. So it's a boulder in a way that is very doable because it stretches over a long period of time. It's not quite like college where it's very immediate. Marriage is something that lasts a long time, so that boulder stretches out to where it's more of just like rocks or stones along the entire way. So, but at the same time, yeah, Brooke is very much one who wants to do it right away. So it's something to where it's something I would like to wait till after college. So that means another 3.5 years until I graduate with my bachelor's. But
Can I comment?
No, just wait. Let me finish first. So there's that. But of course, there's still the fact that I can propose earlier, and the wedding will be much later on. It won't be an immediate thing. So there's that and everything. So I guess, yeah, in a way, for many reasons, mostly myself, and the fact that I don't really want to inconvenience Brooke either. I'd like to wait until after college, or until my last year in college, to where it's not something I'm having to think about through many years of college. It's something that I could, yeah, be really happy about right after college, or it can be something I can really look forward to through my last year. So when, I can't put a date on it, but yeah, sometime in like next 4 years. It won't be any time super after college, because I know Brooke will hate me for that, and I don't really want to, but yeah.
Why the blog? I know this answer.
Why the blog? So those of you who don't know for some reason, this is obviously going back to my blog, Lego MacGyver. Here's a big photo or something of that. There's always a link in the description. So go check that out. I try and do it weekly, but recently I haven't because of internet issues and stuff. So what it is I created Lego MacGyver as a place, as in the name, a hodgepodge place of different ideas I have, writings and Lego ideas, just because along with YouTube I want to get myself out there in a way of not becoming popular, but who I am I want to get out there for people to be able to enjoy, mainly for the fact of Lego. That's why name's Lego MacGyver and everything I play Lego Batman is. And the whole Lego kick is I want to get my Lego stuff out there because people love building with it, especially seeing the people at like Sioux Center in their Lego club, which I'm so happy to help with tomorrow. To see their smiles and their faces on those kids at such an age, and for them to be able to go with it, and to see adults still playing with Lego and everything, and what they're able to create. I want to do, but I also want to give to the world to be able to do it as well. Whether it's just copying me, that's fine, because you're still doing what it is you really enjoy doing. I'm just helping you to enjoy that, not necessarily quicker, but to find what it is that will make you happy. So that's sort of one reason why the blog is to do that, to get my instructions out there, to entertain you. Just in church the other day, I had quite a few people that watch my blog say, "Hey, I love seeing what you do every day. It's really cool. You make me laugh," and it's really nice only because it's interesting that almost all of my vlogs have way more views than actual my gameplay of Lego Batman 3, which in a way seems odd because that's a little off from what the main purpose is, but at the same time I'm glad I'm able to give those people that 3 to 15 minutes worth of enjoyment. So that's sort of why I have the blog there, as well as to provide reviews over books and movies and stuff, to give you a little bit of what's going on in my life, to keep you up to date, and well, because some people like to be connected. That's the way YouTube works, the way the internet, and yeah, we're all friends, whether we know each other or not. The whole biblical thing of love everybody as you love yourself and everything, love thy enemies too. So, go along with that. Everybody, we're all friends. We're all master builders somehow deep down. And so yeah, the blog is mainly just a place for me to be able to, it's a form of me being able to communicate with the world.
Watch that again.
Whatever it is that I'm giving out, just so you can enjoy. It's not for me to put out there everything because I want to be famous. I mean, Zach and I talked earlier, and I don't even have my YouTube set out for that money account thing because, yeah, I don't want it non-profit. I want it non-profit. I'm very much who, I don't want to take advantage of a system because I can. I want to just be able to give everything out. It's a slight problem that I had this past summer with the Lego Club that I did during the summer for the 5 weeks is a lot of what I wanted it to be was a non-profit thing. Granted, there was a price for the kids to sign up for and everything, and that some of that money was going to go to me, and that they were going to pay me for doing the 5 weeks. Even though at the same time I thought, I've been helping them out for a year, they don't need to pay me for doing it 5 more times. So there's that, and then buying the kids certain things for the clubs for whatever theme it was, I initially tried to take out of what they were going to possibly pay me, because I wanted to immediately give back to the kids and wanted nothing for myself, to make it a non-profit thing to where I'm not getting anything out of it except the enjoyment of watching these kids smile and have fun with what I give them and with the theme, and just being able to build with Lego. So yeah, all of this tailing back to why the blog and everything. So yeah, just for me to throw out there what it is I like to do, and to hopefully make you guys be able to enjoy what it is you like to do through me.
Why can't you spell it right today?
Why can't
Or count.
Why can't I spell right or count today? I can't do that any day. It's just happenstance if I get it something correct. No, I actually don't know why. You guys aren't seeing this, but maybe I'll post a photo. When I was initially numbering the questions and everything, I went 6, 7, and then immediately I stopped for a little bit before I thought of the next question. Then I wrote 6 again and wrote it until I realized what I'd done. I was like, oh, shoot, it's supposed to be 8. So then I wrote the next question, and instead of writing 9, which would be the next logical number, I wrote 7 again. No, it'd be 9.
Yeah, whatever.
And so I wrote 7 again, and I was like, oh, crap. So then I just continued that, and yeah, there's so many spelling mistakes. I tried to spell you with an S. I don't know why or how I thought that was correct, but... And it was in this question, too. that I did it. So I don't know why I can't spell or write today. It's a Tuesday, and it hasn't rained.
Will you ever kiss Brooke on camera?
Gosh,
I love the voice for that. It's better than the last take. Well, Brooke has her answer. I'll let her answer it once I've done with my answer. And my answer is completely dependent on Brooke because I don't want to say I'm very much of a... I'm an overly gentleman or that I am a gentleman because term of a gentleman is all over the place as to what that means or anything. But I'm very much a person who takes Brooke into consideration for a lot of things. And for many decisions to where if she doesn't want to do something, I won't push her often and things like that to where I always keep her into consideration. I always ask her first and everything to where I want her to not feel uncomfortable about anything and that she's willing to do stuff and whatnot to where I usually always ask her and whatnot. So she's gone a bit loopy now. It's starting to get later on in the night. To where, yeah, it's completely up to her to where somebody asks, I'd be up to it, but it's up to Brooke to whether she wants to go through with it or not. Just because, yeah, I don't want her to be uncomfortable or anything and that she was willing to do and I'm not forcing her. And that way it's not something that we'll fight about or regret later at some point. And there's that and the fact that, yeah, when it comes to stuff like kissing and intimate stuff with that with a person, it doesn't really matter to me as much as my partner, which is Brooke, is fine and okay with it. Just
Can I
because,
say my answer now?
just a moment.
Oh my gosh.
Just because, yeah, it is her too that would be partaking in the action and everything. So,
Are you gonna get a tattoo?
am I gonna get a tattoo? Very good question.
And if so,
I
where?
was just thinking of mine.
If I were to get a tattoo, it's something I've been debated
And
about
what?
for a while. It's one of those things that first off, when you take your parents into consideration and everything, that first off, yes, it's a personal choice for yourself. Secondly, it's a thing with family just because of values and everything. And then, of course, there's the biblical aspect of defacing your body and everything, how that's frowned upon. To where a tattoo, I wouldn't know what of or for what reason, except for the fact that it'd probably be on like my upper arm. Only because that seems like a logical place for it, just because, yeah, anything below the waist makes no sense to me.
That would be funny.
But yeah, it'd be above the waist, but probably like on the shoulder, just because, yeah, I wouldn't do it on the back. So maybe the chest, I don't know, but I wouldn't know what of that's like the hardest point of it besides getting one or not. Yeah, the fact that I don't know what of, but the fact is, yeah, number one, it's permanent. But yes, you can get it removed, but that is so darn expensive, and they screw that up too. One of the things I would rather do, and it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, is I'd rather do henna. I did henna ink quite a few years ago. What it is, it's like a paint tattoo. In a way to where it's a temporary thing for about 4 to 5 weeks that you get, and then it dries away, and it's actually very healthy and beneficial for you in certain ways. But at the same time, yeah, it's something you can do yourself, have somebody else do, and it's something only temporary, so you can keep changing it all the time and everything. You can have it anywhere you want. So that's probably what I would rather do than a full-on permanent tattoo. But I do know I wouldn't get it anytime soon. It'd be years down the road.
Are you gonna ever have like, shorter vlogs? I don't know, cause
They're not that long.
Am I gonna have shorter vlogs?
like
Well, that is something I do have to admit. Some of mine do get a little longer to where there's the occasional 15 to 20 minute one, whereas some of them, yeah, are really short. Like I just had a 3-minute one the other day. So I guess it sort of varies as to what my day is. I don't just get up and say, oh, I'll vlog today. I sort of like to think about what's going to happen because I want to make it interesting. I don't want to be too bland or too boring or have it be, just 2 or 3 minutes screen. So that's what some YouTubers do, but I feel like I sort of like to be upfront and not entirely private with all of my day. But at the same time, making it interesting. And of course I can ramble on and everything, but I just want to make sure people know certain information and that I repeat it enough so they know and so that I don't get redundant questions and whatnot. I don't know if I'll ever purposely try to do shorter vlogs, but I don't know. I guess I'll do what I like, and depending on what people think about them, then I may try and do it one way or another. But otherwise, I try to be me. So.
What's the future for your channel?
Future of my channel. I don't know how much longer my camera will videotape, but
I'm watching.
Future of my channel, sort of like with my vlog, just something that I post to give the world something to enjoy by me giving you guys what I enjoy. So I figure it's something I'll do for many, many years, as long as people, not so much as if people find me interesting. So even if people don't watch my stuff anymore, I'll still do it because there may be that 1 or 2 people that extremely enjoy what I put out. So I'll still do that for years until either I can't or it's just not something that's available anymore. Of course, there's the whole thing of what's the next YouTube, because first there was MySpace and there was Facebook and Twitter. So people are like, all right, well, there's YouTube now. What's next? And we don't need to worry about that. We're in the here and now. We're doing what we want to do. Like Master Ugre said in Kung Fu Panda, we need to enjoy the present because that's why it's called the present. Everything past is gone. Don't worry about it, and don't worry about the future and everything. That's sort of what I think for the future of my channel. It'll be tons of stuff. Just me doing it until I can't. Take that into context however you wish, but yeah. So, I guess that is all the questions for tonight. Thank you all very much for watching. If you still have any questions you want to ask me, post down below in the comments on any of my social media. I still don't understand why I do that for social media. But, if you do, post any there. I will keep all your questions until the next Q&A. I don't know when that will be. Probably the next 50, after the next 50 videos I post, so number 100. Though I may do something other special for that. But I will do another one. If you have things to ask me, it will happen. So, that being said, also, thank you very much, Zach, Boneshines, and Brickmansker for helping me out tonight. Very much appreciated through all technical troubles and everything. So, thank you for also the great conversation as well, for giving me something to do tonight. And that being said, their channels are in the description, and try and get some videos, something over here as well. Who knows how good my editing skills are, like I said. But, with that being said, thank you all very much for sticking with me and supporting me through 50 videos. I can count, people, I can count. 5-0. Don't give me that look, Zach. Thank you all very much for supporting me and everything, and hope for many, many more. So, I have been Lego MacGyver. To all you master builders out there, stay bricky, keep building, and I will see you all next time.